Yo, what up, you guys? Welcome to another movie log, and this week we're going to be reviewing Playtime, directed by
Tati.
Tati. Oh, you remember?
Yeah, that's the one thing.
You're gonna need to remember that for the test for the midterm later. So,
right.
Anyways, so Playtime is a very mise-en-scène-esque movie where like there's dialogue and there's story elements, but it's more focused on the visual. The camera angles, the different perspectives. So yeah, and I think I don't really enjoy this movie too much. I respect the craft. I respect the craft.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I slept through the first maybe like 20 to 30 minutes.
And I slept through some parts of the movie as well. I blame the lighting because it's really dark.
It's really okay. Well, it's a movie like they're showing a movie, it's gotta be dark. But it's the fact that the beginning is so slow.
Yeah, like you don't really know what you're getting into.
Like, ask me what happened in the first 20 minutes. I have no idea. Because I remember there's an airport scene.
Yeah.
Something about an office, and that's it. I don't...
they're in the airport, and then he leaves, and like it goes through different kind of character. Like,
there's not like a central character.
Yeah, it's not
It's not a character based story.
Yeah,
it's not even a story.
Yeah, it's more the experimentation of mise en scène, like playing around with mise en scène, like that scene with like the glass and the building. Like,
yeah, we talked about that. They said we discussed. I brought up the fact that the camera angles were very like I'm not sharp, but they were very rigid. Like, they didn't move around a lot.
Right, yeah.
And the whole frame of the building is just a square.
Exactly, and it's kind of like a theater kind of thing.
Yeah, you're just looking into people's lives, because how the building's set up is it's an apartment building, but it's square like this, but there's 4 windows, and you can just see into which apartment.
Exactly, and like it really gives you a different perspective on the mise en scène. Like,
yeah, basically.
Like, because a lot of movies, especially like classical films, where it's more like a continuity, like more of a linear progression. Like the point of a classical film is to create this world where you're sucked into it.
Yeah.
All artifice, like the fact that it's a movie is gone. It's as if those people are real. Like, the world is real, and you're not watching a movie. You're watching
people.
Yeah, exactly. And this movie does something else. It's more like an art film where it draws attention to its artifice.
Yeah.
And because of that, like you really pay more attention to how he's like how his camera angles are like filming the movie, and if that makes sense.
It's like a showcase of Paris, basically.
Exactly.
Just so not everyone's lost, mise en scène, we should probably explain like.
Oh right.
So mise en scène consists of like the setting, costumes, makeup, lighting, and
everything within the camera frame is considered mise en scène, and this movie really plays around with that idea. And there's just running theme throughout the first half of the movie where everything's ordered.
Yeah, exactly. So
and set, and then as soon as the middle act happens, like things come to chaos, and straight lines turn to curved lines. And straight movements turn to circles. And that last scene, which I'm not going to spoil, but that last scene with the roundabout, I think was really effective. And it's just all this chaos happening, and you're just watching, the placement of each action. Yeah, exactly. How one leads to the other. And it's
in the beginning, it's very, even the color palette of the entire movie, it's very muted. It's very lots of grays, blues, lots of kind of rigid structure. You had the office building, you had the cubicles.
Exactly.
For
again, straight lines.
Straight lines again, and it kind of talks about how during the day, yes, people are very structured. They have very kind of mundane lives. Mm-hmm. But then when we talk about the restaurant shit, when it shifts to nighttime, then you realize, oh, the city's really alive at night. And
and I really like how he used the mise en scène to do that. Like he didn't have to have a story explaining, a character who's like, oh, in the morning he's working a 9-to-5 job and he's really depressed, but at nighttime things go wild. Paris becomes an entity of its own, and he uses that to explore the idea of the mundane and the chaos. In the morning it's all structured, but in the night it's all party and all crazy. And I like how they did that.
Speaking of the mise en scène, the whole movie is mise en scène because the entire set of Paris is built.
Exactly.
Because my professor told me Tati spent so much money on this movie. He went bankrupt because he built every single set. Every street you see, every building, every kind of set piece you see is constructed.
And you can see that. You can see that. And
because the backdrops, sometimes you'll be able to tell like it's not. You're not in Paris, but like sometimes. Other times, like you have trouble.
And considering when this movie was made, that's a very impressive feat to do that.
Just on its own.
Yeah, and it still looks really good. Like despite one or two off moments, like it's a very impressive, visually impressive film.
Just in terms of like choreography in in the restaurant scene, because to explain that scene. There's a company or a guy who starts a restaurant and they're in the middle of construction, but then they decide to open a restaurant anyways, even though they're not done constructing. Yeah. So people start coming in, and at first it's all right, and then like the restaurant literally starts falling apart. Like people start dancing, there's music, and that's the transition from the mundane to the crazy. And then you realize the structures are all gone. Even outside, there's a neon light up sign on the roof of the balcony or underpass thing, and it's a spiral arrow pointing right into the restaurant. And ever so often, there's a few comedic scenes where a character will walk out, watch the sign, and walk back in. And then it's just very interesting how it changes.
Yeah, I can really respect the narrative being moved advanced through the visuals.
Yeah, if you could call it a narrative.
Yeah, the narrative. But unfortunately, I just I respect the craft, like I said earlier, but I just can't get into the movie.
The mechanics of the film are amazing. Like for that time, it's incredible. But just like because I'm a guy who likes his stories.
Yeah.
I'm a story kind of guy. And
it's hard to get into.
It's kind of hard to get into, exactly, because you have no character attachment to anyone, because it's just a bunch of tourists. It's some random guys here, a random guy here, and then there's just that scene again. I'm talking about the apartment scene. There's no sound. Well, there's sound coming from the street, but it's shot from outside the apartment, so you can see into.
It's an interesting scene. It's a very interesting scene.
Mechanically, yes, very interesting, because you shoot it from the outside, and you have no sound of the characters inside that are talking. All you hear is the outside city streets of people walking by. Sometimes you hear an odd conversation, but otherwise it's soundless, and you have to guess what the people inside are talking about.
And that can be really hard to get into. I can understand, but I feel like the turning point of the movie, it makes the movie a little bit more interesting to me. That's when I start paying attention a lot more. But the beginning is really hard to get into, and it's very risky to start a movie off like that.
Yeah,
in a way,
to start it like that slow.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. A lot of people don't know this movie that well.
Or like it.
It's really artsy and like, So yeah, I don't personally enjoy it, but I enjoy parts of it.
I respect what they did with it.
Yeah, and it really showcases the idea of mise en scène really well.
I mean, they're hammering that in this week. They're like,
and it's a good. If you want to get into cinema stuff, if you want to be more knowledgeable about cinema stuff, like you definitely need to watch this movie. Oh, you might not enjoy it, but you're gonna get something out of it. And you can see how the possibilities of how you can film something. I'm not trying to exaggerate. Like obviously, it doesn't show everything.
No, of course not.
But it's a different perspective.
It's a good showcase for the general idea of each thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's many scenes where the lighting is really important. Like during the restaurant shooting. There's parts where the lights flicker because the restaurant's falling apart, and you kind of get a different notion of what's happening inside the restaurant.
Right. Yeah.
And then in terms of the set, again, it's falling apart. You got roofs collapsing, and I guess I have to say my favorite scene is a genuine choreographed stunt is the door.
Right.
When the door shatters and the guy handling the door just holds the door holds the doorknob in where the door was. It still opens it when people comes in.
Yeah. There's some really creative things in this movie, and even though I don't like the movie overall, there are some parts that I like, and
as segregated parts, you can analyze each one and say, okay, that's good,
and
that's
there
good,
are some parts that you guys probably would enjoy too.
But as strung together,
it's hard to recognize.
As an idea, as a movie, it's not your typical idea.
It's hard to recommend, and but I don't know. Like, you might like it. Like, there's a lot of people in this world, different perspectives. But personally, for us, like, it's really hard for me to get into. So yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it.
Okay, so yeah, that's the end of our movie log. If you guys want to watch it, it's hard to recommend, but like I said, if you want to get into this, cinema stuff, you should try to check it out at least. There are some things in there, even if you don't like the movie as an overall thing. There are definitely some parts where you might like. It's very interesting.
Prepare to fall asleep.
Maybe.
Okay, if you're watching in a darkened giant room like that we were watching.
I mean, the movie kind of opened my eyes a little bit about different, because I've never seen movies like that before.
Yeah, exactly. Like when they started analyzing in class, I was like, okay, so that's what this part was up. That's what this part was up.
Exactly, and it really makes you think. So it's not your average movie, but it's definitely one that a lot of people like and that you might like. So check it out at your own discretion.
You make it sound like it's some fucking disease.
No. It's just hard for me to recommend.
Check it out if you want.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it for this movie log. If you guys like this video, please like it. Like the email, please favorite. Like the email, please share it. Subscribe to this channel for update content. Also subscribe to our personal channels. We have other stuff there too. And all over the place. But yeah, also if you guys watch this movie, please give your review down below. Do you agree or disagree with us? Why not? And yeah, thank you guys for watching again, and I'll see you guys on the next Black Couch, Igloo Cinema, or movie log or something like that. So yeah, peace. Bye. Later.